You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at Shaletta Makes Me Laugh.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of It Is Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about what do you do when you find out that your young person is gambling. You're probably wondering, what? Young people are gambling? Believe it or not, gambling has a culture that has spread and is impacting young people like no tomorrow. And many parents, caregivers, and youth workers have no clue. It's right there on their phones. It's being incorporated into a lot of the games they play, a lot of the apps that they engage in, and a lot of the people that they follow. Now, let's start there. A lot of your big time streamers who have fan bases that are 25 and under, a lot of these people have gambling sponsorships. Some of the biggest sponsors they can have. One of the more notable ones is Stake. Stake, Stake, Stake. And Stake is a gambling company, and they sponsor a lot of big time streamers. Why am I bringing up streamers right now? Because that's who a lot of the young people in our lives are paying attention to. They're spending a lot of time watching these individuals, learning from these individuals, being influenced by these individuals to purchase, do things, behave, all those things. So it's happening. It is happening. And I'm here to let you know that it's happening so that you can make the most appropriate decisions to help move the ball forward. All right. So again, it's in the streaming, right? The influencers that they engage in. It's in the games. Believe it or not, a lot of the games, whether we're talking about games on mobile devices, actual games on consoles, whether we're talking about apps, there's a gamified thing taking place around sports betting. Okay. Now, a lot of the apps, one thing that I noticed, I'm a sports fan, love football. Basketball is my second favorite sport. But what I've learned is things like FanDuel, DraftKings, these things that are supposed to be restricted to kids, kids are finding loopholes and still figuring out ways to be able to get access and to gamble. Now you're probably wondering, where are kids getting money to gamble? Most kids are broke. Parents' credit cards. Sometimes they may get allowance. They'll forward the balance into an app. Like, you have to just understand that if there's a will, there's a way, and our kids are trying to figure out the best way possible to get engaged. Why is gambling so popular? It's easy. It's fun. It's addictive. And if you win, that dopamine hit is, it's hard to explain. You're being acknowledged. You feel significant. You belong to a community. All those things of the universal goal, those properties, they're all being met with the engagement around gambling. So gambling is no longer something young people only see in casinos, gas stations, or poker scenes in movies. It has now become a part of sports broadcasting. It's in the pregame shows. It's in the podcast ads that they may listen to. The streamers are doing it. It's in their group chats. It's in the video games, a lot of the fantasy leagues that they may engage in, prediction markets, influencer content, and the language young people use when they talk about money, competition, and winning is all influenced by gambling. All of it's influenced by gambling. So for many parents and caregivers, this shift can feel sudden. One day your child is watching basketball, football, soccer, or UFC. The next day they're talking about parlays, odds, spreads, props, locks, and, sometimes they may use terms like, sold the ticket, right? So you sold the ticket. These are not just sports things. This is the language, the culture around gambling, and there's a culture being developed and cultivated with young people. What does this have to do with mental health, Brandon? Well, it's a huge mental health issue. Over the past few years, gambling culture has become more visible, more digital, and more socially accepted. Sports betting, for instance, has specifically moved into everyday life where young people may not ever, they might not even, they may have never even seen gambling at first, right? This is their first time they've been engaged with it. To them, it can feel like a game, a challenge, a strategy, or a way to prove that they know more than their friends. So they're finessing themselves into the gambling piece, and it's fascinating. So how does this, how does this associate itself with gambling? Because if you don't win, you start to feel bad. You make, let's say you got some money for your birthday, but you're a 15-year-old, you got some money for your birthday. So you got $600 in total from all your friends and family. You put that right into a gambling app, transfer it over, and next thing you know, boom, that $600 is gone in less than 24 hours because you placed you ran the risk with your money. You played some games, you lost, and that money just dissipated. It's gone. It's gone. So adolescence is already a stage of risk taking, identity formation, peer pressure, and emotional intensity. Many young people who want to feel grown, right? We hear that all the time. Many young people who want to be skilled, independent, or even respected, gambling can speak directly to those needs. It offers the feeling of control in a world where many young people feel so uncertain. This is a new escapism. It's a new drug. It's a new addiction. And pretty soon, unfortunately, we'll start having gambling addiction resources, nonprofits, and things of that nature because this cannot hold up for too long. And it will happen. We will have to find a way to protect our children to the best of our ability. Um, just going through my notes here. I wanna spend a little bit more time before we close out today's podcast on the link between gambling and mental well-being. So, gambling problems are not only about money, they are about emotion, and that's what we have to understand. A lot of these kids are doing this, they're doing it because it's a cool, fun thing to do, but they will have an emotional response to the things that happen, whether it's excitement or sadness or a bunch of range of other emotions. They're gonna show up when you're gambling. You are putting yourself in a vulnerable position. You are utilizing a lot of not productivity, but um, where you're perceiving emotion, and if it doesn't reach there, you're more likely to feel not well about yourself due to the nature of the situation. So, unfortunately, gambling can create a very dangerous cycle. Teens can feel stressed, and then they start to bet. They may win something, and the stress, lifts the moment for the moment, but then they're back to the gambling. They may lose something, and the stress gets worse, where they just start cutting people off, push people away. Then they may bet again to recover from the loss, which is dangerous, right? Man, I lost $100. I know I can get it back. Let me go ahead and put another 100 in. Now you're down 200 or more because you're engaging and you're trying to fill holes that were either already there or were brought forth by the activity. So, what do we do? This podcast is about practical strategies, things that don't cost you a lot of money, if any at all. What can parents do if they do find out that the young person in their life is gambling? One, you need to get aware of what the gambling apps are and what they're gambling for. It's not just all sports. Love Island is a big thing that they're gambling on Love Island as well. Not on the show, but on who's gonna win, things of that nature. Who's gonna get kicked out? This is what's happening. This is what's happening. So a young person struggling with gambling may not say, I have a problem because they don't know. Most people who So here are some things that I want to encourage parents to consider. Because they're not gonna again, kids are not gonna say I have a problem. But that problem is gonna show up like this. If you hear your kids talking about it, they're consistently talking about odds, bets, parlays, easy money, chances are they're engaging in an activity. If they're being unusual and just like in an awkward way emotional about games that they either don't watch or don't care about, usually a sign that they're involved in some gambling. They ask for money without clear reasons. It's another sign. They're borrowing from their friends and siblings. They're stealing items and hiding purchases. They become secretive with phones, apps, and bank accounts. Their mood swings after games. They lose interest in school, activities, and relationships. They are lying about where the money went. They stay up late to follow games, streams, and betting results. And then lastly, they feel anxious, angry, or depressed after they lose. One sign does not mean that a young person has a gambling problem, but a pattern deserves attention. And that's what I want to focus on for you all today. Pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to what you're hearing your kids say. So starting the conversation before there's a crisis. Many adults wait until they find a reason to bring it to them. Oh, I've seen you watch that FanDuel ad or whatever. I don't know. Right? But many adults wait until they find a charge, a lie, or a major loss before they talk about gambling. But by then, the young person may have already felt cornered, right? So, things you might want to say, and we'll close it out with a few things to help you. Number one, I've noticed sports betting is everywhere now. I'm curious how people your age are talking about it. Open up a conversation with your young person. You can say this. When you see betting ads during games, what do you think they're trying to make people feel? Try these next two. Do people at your school ever bet on games, video games, fantasy sports, or online stuff? And then the last thing, I'll stop there for questions. If you notice the three questions that I proposed, it gives you an opportunity to create a conversation. It takes a lot of the shame and blame out of it, and it really helps the young person think about what their involvement is with gambling, whether they're in it to win it or not. We should be having conversations with our kids about it. All right. And the last thing that I'll say about this is that there is an exploitation factor here with young people in gambling. And this is one thing we talked a lot about sports. We know that boys tend to lean towards sports a lot more than girls do. This is gender neutral issue. There are also girls who are involved in the betting world as well. But boys are kind of driving this because it is built around sports, but the girls do it. I've seen women and female streamers who have stake sponsorships. I've seen it. I've seen people get paid for doing gambling, playing, blackjack, all types of stuff. So it's happening and it's showing up. And we want to make sure that young people don't get caught up in this spiral of what's new that may hurt them. All right, folks, I think that's a lot that I gave you, something to chew on. We're going to probably revisit this because I think this is going to be a growing issue, is this whole gambling culture that's bleeding into youth culture right now. So that's going to do it for us today. There's two ways you can get a hold of myself or the network. The first way is through my personal website, jegna.org. That's JEGNA.org, jegna.org. The second way is if you like me, you're like the plethora of amazing podcasters we have on our network. What is that network? It is ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. Again, ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. Check us out. That's going to do it for me today, folks. I appreciate y'all for coming on by, checking out the podcast. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe and come on back now, too. Until then, be safe, be constructive, be well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.
To check out previous episodes of It's Not Your Fault, or to learn more about Brandon Jones, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Welcome to Old National Bank.
I understand you're all about protection.
Well, we protect you in all kinds of ways, with advanced fraud monitoring and secure digital banking to protect you today, and with dedicated personal bankers to protect your tomorrow.
I'm impressed.
Protection for today and tomorrow.
Could I just...
Oh, go for it.
Old National Bank. Just another reason to get old.
Where'd you get this?
It came with my couch.
Were you counting on a personal care assistant or autism provider who is no longer able to provide services for your child this summer? Don't panic. The Minnesota Department of Human Services just finished an urgent statewide effort to make sure providers of high-risk Medicaid services fully comply with state requirements to provide quality care. The department recently completed a top-to-bottom compliance review of almost 5,600 providers of high-risk services, including personal care assistance and autism programs. If your child's provider was disenrolled, it is time to be proactive. Let me ask you a question. Does your child have a case manager? They usually can help you find a new provider. If your child does not have one, the department will be reaching out to you directly to make sure you know how to find someone new. Understand what's happening and how to get help at mn.gov/DHS/find-care.
Our mission is to positively impact and enhance the lives of those who serve or served. So the support center, we built this as a place to really be a community center for those that we serve, those vets, those first responders, and then their families. It's a place where they can go be with other people in a safe, healthy, welcoming space. Our support center has a big focus on the arts because the arts are something that help our people heal. We have a large wood shop, a laser room where we laser engrave, wood, metal, plastic, glass, slate, all kinds of different things. And then we have an art studio where we paint and we color and we draw and thread work. And we have a 3D printer in there. Then we also have a gym. We also have access in our space to immediate access to therapists and support that way. So, when people are having a tough day or they just say, today is the day I need to talk to somebody. At a normal place, it's really hard for you to just walk in and get that support, whereas here we have that.